You're listening to the Empowered Divorce Podcast, where you practice being the chooser in your life again, one day at a time. Thanks for joining me. Hello, my amazing listeners. 2025. Holy moly, I cannot believe it. How are you? How are you all holding up? How was your holiday? If you were listening to this, you made it. Christmas did not take you out. It might have taken you down, but not out, because you are here and I am so glad. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I have said this before. When I hit record, I imagine you walking beside me. I am hearing you, listening to you, seeing you, and encouraging you along the way. I have had a wonderful couple weeks with family. We've had 14 people in this house the last couple of weeks. It has been a lot. It has been busy. It has been fun. It's been memorable. I am just now getting back in the swing of things. Hence, those of you who are watching me on YouTube, I'm in my workout attire. I'm not in my professional attire. I'm still putting Christmas away and trying to get my life put back together before I jump back into work. But I wanted to put this episode out. I actually had the one that will air next week. I had scheduled for today, but I pushed it back because I wanted to give this message around the new year. Right now, you're hearing everybody talk so much about New Year's and New Year's resolution. And so I want to dive into that a little bit today with my own thoughts and a place where I think can be really helpful to start and to focus on this new year. But I wanted to mention really quickly that the Brainspotting Intensive registration link is live. This is happening the second week in April in Utah. You will be there with me and 5 other amazing women where we are deep diving back into the body. We are going to have an intense focus on the body, connecting back towards it. You hear me say all the time that trauma disconnects brain from body, and holistic healing. And my approach is we want to get the brain, body, heart, spirit all back together. The body needs some attention, needs a lot of attention. It gets ignored, it gets shut down, we dissociate, we numb out. Thankfully, or we would die, right? Because of the intense trauma that you're experiencing, but we need to connect back to it, listen to it, and heal it, and learn to love it. Brainspotting is a therapeutic somatic healing modality. When we go through trauma, the brain needs to heal, the heart needs to heal, but the body keeps the score, right? We need to heal it too. And I'm excited to be with you in April. Again, the link is in the show notes for that. It will go quickly. I also wanted to remind you that the Dating Within workshop is at the end of the month also. January 23rd, 24th, and 25th, a couple hours each night of your time. Jam-packed information, y'all. Those of you who are scared to date, this is for you. This is for you too. This isn't about actual dating like other people. This is learning how to date yourself first. Yes. The last night we will talk about what dating someone else actually looks like. Yellow, orange, red flags to look for, online dating tips, and of course the highlight, ask a guy anything. Get a guy's perspective, male's perspective with a live Q&A with my husband, Scott, the very last night. Join me for a couple hours, again, 23rd, 24th, 25th. It is seriously so much information and coaching and a workbook, and they're all recorded. And I highly recommend this before you even begin that journey of dating. We want to start dating yourself, healing yourself. I take the 3 nights and I split it up to past, present, future. Future is when you do decide to date someone else, but we have to look at all these different parts. It is so important. I unfortunately see too many women that will dive into dating without healing, without looking at their past, without being in the present, without connecting back to themselves, learning attachment theory, right? All of these little things that I just feel like will set you up. It's why I created it, because I want to set you up for success. I want to give you hope again when what you have been through destroys your hope. It shatters. I remember, you've heard me talk about this before in the podcast. I remember thinking and saying to myself, I'm never going to date again. There is no way in hell I'm going to do this. I lived in that space for a while. I felt very confident, very confident in that space. Deep down, I really did want to be with someone. Deep down, I knew that I was a good partner. Deep down, I wanted to find healthy. I wanted to experience a healthy relationship. I wanted to have companionship and partnership and all of the things. I just was scared. I was just frightened. I didn't want to get hurt again. And so I needed to be in that space for a little while of like, shut all men out. Hell no, not doing that again. So I get it. And I think deep down, you too genuinely want that healthy companionship. You just don't know how to find it. And you're scared that you're never going to find it. And you're scared that, well, I found it that first time. So what's keeping me from getting hurt again? Relationships are always a risk. You're going to hear me talk about this in the workshop. There's always a risk to every relationship that we ever get in. I didn't know that when I first started this whole journey of relationships when I was 18 years old. I didn't know that it was a risk. I thought that if I did certain things, checked off the list, and I found my perfect person, then I wouldn't get hurt. What I've learned since then is that we need to take a healthy risk. And we got to learn what healthy looks like. And we got to create that healthy within first. And it sets you up for more success. I want to deep dive into this with you in the Dating Within workshop, again, end of January. We have fun. I really hope to see you there. That registration link you can find in the show notes or go to amiewoolsey.com. All right, y'all. So happy New Year or happy freaking New Year, whichever it is for you. I just sent off my grandbabies. And so I am a little sad. Like I said, we had a house full, and 2 of those 14 were my darling, adorable, perfect grandchildren. And I loved watching this 2.5-year-old start to stretch her independence and start to have a voice, and a big one at that. This girl is either going to rule the world or burn it down. I'm not sure which one yet. But I was taking her on walks every day. As I did, I was thinking about the new year and how many people at this time, again, are focusing on goals and New Year's resolution and all the new year beginnings, with this last on December 30th with the new black moon in Capricorn, the official name of it. It was a perfect day, perfect couple days to really try and ground deeper into my aspirations and my dreams and my hopes for the new year. And as I was pulling the cart with my granddaughter sitting in it, and I just stood there in awe. I had to just stop in my tracks for a minute. And I realized in this moment that a decade after having a life-saving divorce, I never thought that my life would or could be happy again, that I would have joy again, that I would have dreams, that I would have aspirations, that I would be in this moment pulling my grandbaby on a beautiful sunny day and thinking about my future in a fond way. When a decade ago, I had no idea what my future held. I could not have even imagined. Like, if someone said to me, okay, Amie, but if you could imagine your future, what ideally would that look like? It's still like my brain still could not have conjured up what my life is like today. And I say that to validate where you're at and let you know that anything is possible. Just because your human brain can't fathom, can't bring up this idea of what your future could look like after a life-saving divorce, after going through betrayal and abuse, it doesn't mean that you can't create something and that it isn't possible. Because I never thought that I would know what healthy looks like. I never thought that I would be in my body the way that I'm at. I never thought I would love my body, myself, that I could create the life that I want the way that I'm creating it. I never thought that I could heal my heart. I never thought that I could practice forgiving. And I say practice because forgiveness to me is not a one and done. I am still practicing forgiveness every day, but I never thought that I could get to that point where I could practice forgiveness, right? I never thought that I would, like I said before, I never thought that I would date again. I never thought that I would open up my heart to love again or to receive love again. I never knew what that could possibly look like. Healing was just this large, big, unattainable, something that wasn't tangible, right? Like healing, what does that even look like? What does that even mean? That's what I want to talk about today. As the world is talking about goals and aspirations and New Year's resolutions, I want to walk through the basic steps of healing, the foundation of what dreaming and goals and hopes and aspirations can give you. Because if we cannot heal, if we cannot do this basic foundational work, then honestly, like I can see why people would say, what is the purpose of dating again or hoping or dreaming again? Like I get why people would think that. Healing after betrayal, abuse, and divorce has to be a conscious choice. We can't stay so busy and let life start to happen to us, thinking that all of the pain, all of the trauma, all of the problems will just go away. Just like people are saying over the internet right now with goals, create something new in your life. But you have to be the chooser of your healing and in your healing. We have to be present in it. It can feel like you are hitting your head against a wall with goals when we are not laying the foundation of healing first. Those of you who have taken my intimacy within course, you know this, but one of the things that I share before we dive into the 7 levels of intimacy, like cultivating intimacy within yourself, we need to back it up, right? We need to heal and go through a healing. There's a healing pyramid that I walk you through. I also use this with my couples who are wanting to repair the relationship because they too oftentimes jump the gun and want to get to that intimacy again without the healing. And so the healing pyramid, when we start at the very base, again, think of a triangle, pyramid shape. And at the very bottom of that pyramid, the base is truth, honesty. There must be truth and honesty if there is going to be a healthy relationship, which is why a full therapeutic disclosure is essential if my couple wants to heal their relationship from betrayal. How many of you are still sitting with reality fragmentation and suffering from a lack of closure because you don't have full disclosure? Yep, me too. It sucks. Hang in there with me. I'm not leaving you at a dead end and hopeless here. Again, I'm walking through this like if we are, as if I'm working with a couple, okay? This is typically how this healing pyramid was created for couples to walk them through how to heal. But what I've done is taken this individually. And so I'm going to walk you through that in just a minute. But if we're looking to heal a relationship, we have to have truth and honesty. And as many of, because you didn't get it and you were still and probably are still being lied to, it makes sense why you still aren't feeling safe with the person, why you can't trust the person, and why there's not even a level of amicability possibly with this person, because your brain is going to keep looping and looping to the unknown and the missing pieces in that relationship, missing pieces of truth and honesty, right? Okay, the next one is safety. If we don't have truth and honesty, then there can't be safety. There must be safety, emotional, physical, sexual, mental, spiritual safety in a relationship. Without it, we can't have healthy intimacy. So again, those couples that are coming in, like we just want to connect. We just want to have intimacy again. Like we want to create a new relationship. I'm like, still got to back it up. If I have a client that comes in and she's like, I just still don't feel safe. Something just still doesn't feel safe. My body still doesn't feel safe. I'm like, red flag, red flag. We got to back it up. If we have those 2 foundational pieces, honesty and safety, then it makes trust possible. You can see how when trust is shattered, when your ex is telling you to just forgive and forget, and then you will trust them, right? You'll trust me if you just forgive. How many of you heard that? I did. Or just trust me and things will be okay. Whatever. That's crazy talk. When you weren't given truth, your body still massively felt unsafe. So yeah, no trust. Not going to happen. Okay, the next is vulnerability. If we don't have truth and honesty, then we don't feel safe. If we don't feel safe, then we can't trust. And if we can't trust, then we're not going to feel free to be completely vulnerable with our partner. If we're not vulnerable, then we don't have real healthy intimacy. And that's the top of the pyramid is intimacy right after vulnerability. And then that's where the 7 levels of intimacy after that come in, right? Intimacy isn't just sex, right? There's 7 levels of intimacy. There's verbal, cognitive, emotional, psychological, spiritual, physical, and sexual. Again, in that self paced course, I walk you through all 7 levels of intimacy and how to cultivate that within yourself first so that we can have and know what a healthy relationship looks like. It's a really big piece, but healing comes first. And creating that foundation of healing needs to come first. And sometimes when there's been so much damage to the primary attachment, I'm actually okay with it coming across right now as a checklist. I think the PTSD brain likes it and needs it right now. So if it's coming across as like, okay, you just do check, 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 walk through these different stages of the pyramid, and then voila, I'll have healthy. Like, I get how sometimes your brain's going to go there, and I'm okay with that right now. There's a lot more to it. But when we don't know where to start, right? Like, I don't even know where to start in my healing. I don't even know what healthy looks like. I thought I did, but that got blown to hell. It can feel really overwhelming to jump back in to the healing journey, jump back into relationship, right? All the things. So I'm okay with the idea of it coming across as a checklist right now. I think when you start to go through the journey and the process, you'll find that you can incorporate more head, heart, gut into it, approach it more holistically, especially if you work with me. I try to incorporate all of that. Anyways, today I want to walk through the healing pyramid, the truth, safety, trust, vulnerability, and intimacy, but not as it relates to someone else. Okay. In a relationship with someone else, I want you to cultivate this with you first. And with it being a new year, perhaps it can motivate you and encourage you and give you hope. I always want to give you hope that you can have healthy, that you can have a healthy relationship once again. And it really does need to start with you. So let's start with you. Practicing this for yourself, with yourself. So the truth, safety, trust, vulnerability, and intimacy, but not with someone else, not as a couple healing, not trying to heal a relationship with someone else. I want you to imagine this pyramid, this healing pyramid for you. And these are steps for you to take in your own healing journey. And I just think it's a great way to start the new year off with starting your healing in this very basic foundational way. So, the very basic truth and honesty. We have to know the truth of our story. And we have to be honest about our story. A lot of times, this is really hard because sometimes being honest about our story means we have to be honest about ourselves and how we showed up in that past relationship. We first have to remove any shame, any self blame, or self judgment because you did not cause it. You did not choose betrayal and abuse. You did not want this kind of divorce. You did not want your relationship to end up this way. And we did show up in a way in our past relationships that we had to be honest about and around. How many of you feel like you had no idea what was happening? Like this just came out of the blue, that you really truly thought everything was fine. This came out of nowhere. When in reality, like I'll walk clients through this like all the time. The more they start to connect to their body, the more they realize, oh, I did know. It's interesting because when I do full disclosures and we're in this bottom level pyramid of finding truth and honesty, this is where we do full therapeutic disclosures. So we're sitting there and my client's partner is giving her the truth. And every single time in the middle of that disclosure, she'll be like, oh my gosh, I knew it. Oh my gosh, I knew it. Oh my gosh, I knew it. It's a really powerful and empowering moment for her to realize, oh, my body did know. Oh, I did know. And we need to have those moments where, oh, I did know. My body was telling me. Now, where we have to be honest with ourselves, and this can be a little challenging for some people, but where we have to be honest with ourselves is, why was I not listening to my body? Right? What was going on in my life? What did I learn? Gosh, this can be family of origin, right? What did I learn? What was I told? How did I get to a place where I was ignoring my body to this level? Where did I learn to rationalize and justify this kind of behavior? What did I tell myself? So we need to look at that. That is such a big part of healing, y'all. We cannot skip this part. And again, this isn't because you did something wrong and this is why this happened to you, right? This is not what I'm saying. So don't hear me wrong. We have to look at ourselves separately because otherwise we're just going to repeat the pattern. Like those of you who want to have a relationship in the future, but you're like, no, it's just going to happen again. I'm just going to get hurt again. Yeah. If you're not honest with yourself and you can't look at this for yourself honestly, then it will repeat. We have to see how we showed up and be honest with ourselves around that in order for us to not repeat the pattern. So, what is the truth about the relationship? What is my truth, not my ex partner's truth and story? What is my story? Owning your story is a really big part of this foundational healing in this pyramid. A lot of times we don't want to look at the story. We get carried away with life and we ignore it. We have to look at it. One of the tools that I've given several people, I think I had this actually available for those who joined me in a live Q&A session once. So those of you who have received this from me, I gave you an impact letter template where it goes through every different area, like all these different areas in your life that you have been impacted by your partner's betrayal and by abuse and divorce. And it just helps you identify the gravity and impact that this has had on you. And what that even that sounds like really, ugh, that does not sound fun, Amie. I know it's not. But what it does is help you formulate your story. It helps you own your story. It helps you see the gravity and the impact, put a language to it. It helps you grieve it, helps you heal it. We have to do this. Oh, we have to do this work. It's not just going to go away. Time doesn't just make it go away because your body keeps the score. We have to get in the body and see the truth that the body holds around your story, and we have to own it and we have to be honest about it. Brain spotting can really help with this, right? With pulling it out, getting it out in the open, bringing it to the surface and looking at it so that we can heal it. So this bottom of the pyramid, truth and honesty, it can take some time. Give yourself time to work through this part. This is, if you need additional support in this area, feel free to reach out. But I cannot stress enough, those of you who are wanting, craving intimacy in your life and with someone else, we have to do this work first. We have to look at our own truth and be honest about all of it. Be honest with ourselves about all of it. If we don't, we can't get to that next level of the pyramid, which is safety. When I talk about safety, I'm talking about physical, like basic physical safety, psychological, mental, spiritual, sexual, emotional safety. I know all of you have experienced massive amounts of unsafety in your relationship, not feeling safe in your own body. Many of you right now are feeling very unsafe in your body. That absolutely can happen when we've been so disconnected from it. So it makes sense. We also need to try to cultivate safety again within our bodies. When you think about your truth, when you think about your story and what you need to do to create some safety for yourself and within yourself, this is going to be about boundaries. Boundaries are so hard to hold and follow through with when you're not honest with yourself and when you don't believe you have a right to safety. So a good question to ask yourself is, how can I begin to feel safe in my body? How can I feel safe with my thoughts and with my emotions right now? Ask yourself, how can you create safety for yourself in situations or circumstances that might not feel safe? This goes back to boundaries. We have to create boundaries with ourselves first. This is just a quick example of what I'm talking about. Every single time I got a text from my ex, so early on after my divorce, I was texting him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Every single time I received a text or tried to write a text back to him, I was so disconnected from my body. My body was on such high alert and intensity, like massive anxiety. I was fidgety. I was anxious, like all the things. Like I did not feel connected to my body. I did not feel safe in my body during these text exchanges, largely because I was not I did not have boundaries with myself. So sometimes I was sharing emotions with someone who wasn't safe to share emotions with. So then that led to massive unsafety. I was trying to point out areas that he was wrong or how he was wrong about me and trying to correct him and make sure that he knew, no, that's not really what I'm saying, or no, that's not really what my intention was, because he kept throwing out all these accusations, right? And so I would go round and round and round in these text threads trying to prove my point to him or try to stand up and have a voice. But look, trying to stand up and have a voice to a narcissist is pointless, okay? You're just going to go round and round in a circle. And all the while, it's impacting my body over and over and over. Trying to get him to stop sending me those messages, that's not in my control. So I had to start cultivating boundaries for myself so that I could start feeling a lot safer throughout the day as I was trying to communicate with this person. For example, a boundary that I had to create for myself is I'm not going to try to convince him about anything, especially what I'm really thinking or feeling about the situation, because he's got it all wrong and he wants to be wrong. It's okay that he's wrong about me. Like, I had to just accept that. It's okay that he is wrong about me. I am not going to go around and around in circles trying to convince him otherwise. That was a boundary I had to set for myself. I'm not going to share emotions. He does not get a right to my emotions anymore. He does not get to know how I think or feel. He does not get a right to how I feel. Any message that I send is very, very simple. No feelings. Those are just a few ideas, examples of what I'm talking about, where I am setting boundaries for myself to create more safety for myself. That is how you heal. It will never come from them, y'all. It won't. It can't. In fact, a healthy relationship will not create it for you. So creating safety comes from you. And it starts by you creating and cultivating healthy boundaries for you. When you practice this, when you really start feeling safer within yourself, you can start to trust yourself. Trust that you will give yourself what you need and that you will have your own back. How many of you feel like you can't trust yourself and that you will never trust someone again? This is how we start to cultivate that trust, by owning our truth and our story and being honest with ourselves. By setting boundaries, you create safety for ourselves. And when you do that consistently, you will start to trust yourself. Ask yourself these questions. If I can trust my body, what is it telling me about the situation? What is it telling me about my past? What is it telling me right now? If I can trust myself, what do I need? What do I need right now? If I can trust myself, what will I choose? What will I choose to do in this moment? What will I choose to do about this situation? Those of you who think you will never trust again, you won't if you can't trust yourself first. This is why I tell a lot of my clients who feel like they can't trust anything, I say, just trust your body. Just listen to your body and trust it right now. Just believe it. It's okay if it's wrong, meaning it's okay if it's telling you that this person is dangerous and this person really isn't dangerous. Or it's okay if it's telling you that this is a current threat, even though it might be a trigger from the past. Just believe it first, because we have to start trusting ourselves. We have to start trusting our body. Just like in a relationship, building trust takes time. It takes consistency. So it does with you. When you are honest with yourself, when you feel safer in your body, then you can start to trust your body. When you start to trust your body, there is less risk to be vulnerable. That's why these first 3 foundational pieces are being practiced and believed within first. There can't be healthy intimacy with other people, and certainly not with yourself, without vulnerability. So the next one is learning how to be vulnerable with yourself, learning how to honor the feelings and the thoughts that are coming up for you as you think about your past relationship, as you think about the divorce, or as you think about a situation right now. Ask yourself this: how can I honor myself in this moment? Rather than shoving or dismissing, rationalizing your thoughts and feelings, how can you be vulnerable with yourself first? Fear of rejection might be popping up in the situation. Fear of being alone, right? Fear of being rejected by others. It hurts. It hurts to be rejected. Even when it's with someone that we know does this often, it still hurts. So ask yourself this question: where might I be rejecting myself first? Oftentimes we're already rejecting our own thoughts and our own feelings and our own opinions. And in a subconscious attempt to not be rejected by others, we're rejecting ourselves. I know that sounds weird, but it happens more often than you realize. So pay attention to your resistance to being vulnerable with other people, bring it back to you. How am I not being vulnerable with myself first? How am I not listening to myself, right? Being kind to myself, being honest, really letting myself be free in this moment to feel and to think. When you can be vulnerable with yourself, when you can let down your guard, when you can see yourself, like really see who you are, now intimacy. Now is where you can start creating intimacy. Now you can start really connecting to yourself. So ask yourself this question. What type of connection do I need to give myself in this moment? Do I need verbal connection, right? Do I need to just tell myself, Amie, you got this. You've got this. You're good. You've got this. Do I need cognitive connection? Do I need to believe my thoughts and my ideas and my opinions? Do I need emotional connection? Do I need to feel my feelings and be with myself in this emotion? Psychological, spiritual, physical, what kind of intimacy, connection do I need to give myself right now? How will I choose to give myself this connection? Do I need a walk, a cry, a hug? Do I need to show myself kindness, compassion? Do I need to feel my feelings, validate my ideas and my opinions? Do I need to connect with my higher self, my higher power? Then ask yourself, what will keep me from connecting to myself in this way? Fear? The idea that I don't have enough time? Self-sabotage? Be honest with yourself here. And then this is where you can start to cultivate these 7 different levels of intimacy, right? Really start diving in and connecting back towards yourself. When you have been disconnected for so long, we have to start connecting back to ourselves. This is one of the first things that we dive into in my dating workshop. It's so important. I cannot tell you how many times I see this getting missed. And then the patterns repeat. And then the unhealthy relationship repeats. The truth is, relationships are always a risk. We are looking to take a healthy risk. And healing within and cultivating intimacy within is a great way to step into taking a healthy risk. Join me January 23rd. If you are listening to this afterwards, head over to amiewoolsey.com and see when the next workshop is. If you take the workshop, you'll get a discount for that intimacy within self-paced course, but you can go ahead and find that and start that today at amiewoolsey.com. I hope this helps. I hope it gives you something to look forward to this year, the starting place, rather than getting so caught up in goals and aspirations and big dreams, when that just feels impossible, when it feels like there's no way I could ever have hope again or dream again. What does that even look like? Start here. Let this be your foundation to starting your new year, is healing within. I would love to walk alongside you in your journey, however you need, whether that's Brainspotting, whether that's the workshops or coaching membership or online courses. I know that healing is possible. And I know that when it feels impossible, having someone say it keeps the spark burning, even if it's just a little spark. I know that you can do this. I don't have anything, y'all, I promise. There is nothing in me that I have that you don't have within you. There is nothing that you don't have already within you to help you create the life that you want, to help create something new this year, to help create healing, the truth, the safety, the trust, the vulnerability, and the intimacy that you want, because you absolutely can. Take care.